Hello students, this is Balakrishnan. Welcome to BALAS Accountancy Special Classes. Accounting Standard Name, Revenue Recognition Part 2. So, let us continue with the recognition of sale of goods. In my previous video, that is video serial number BACA 003, we were discussing about the customized order. Here the products are made on the order of the customer. It is called special order. Mind. In normal case, goods are produced and sales are activated in the general market and then on transfer of risk, reward and position. As well as after ensuring no uncertainty. As we have already discussed in the previous video, sales will be recognized. But under special order, revenue is recognized when the goods are ready at our end itself. Right? When the goods are ready at our end itself. Okay? Now, there are other special cases also. For example, installation. It has to be at the buyer's satisfaction. Certain cases, even if the sale is over, installation at the customer's location is a prerequisite. And therefore, recognition is done once the installation is also ensured to the buyer's satisfaction. Further, in certain cases, in addition to installation, based on the technology, we have to ensure the system what we have delivered is functioning. Technical issues are to be checked and we have to certify that it is fit for use. In such case, revenue will be recognized when the installation is done, inspection is done, and approval from the buyer is ensured. I repeat, and the approval from the buyer is ensured. Now, there are other cases when goods are sent on return or approval basis. It is another case. It's return or approval basis. Have you heard of this one? Perhaps you have already learned about this kind of sale. Revenue will be recognized when the goods are accepted or the time to return is lapsed, whichever is earlier. I repeat, here the revenue will be recognized when the goods are accepted or the time to return is lapsed, whichever is earlier. Okay? So the revenue will not be recognized when the goods are just given on return or approval basis. Acceptance or time lapse. I repeat, acceptance or time lapse. Whichever is earlier is the criteria. Then the last one is, what if the buyer requests to delay delivery? We are already, last video I mentioned it. Here you are ready with the goods, but the customer says, please don't deliver now. Delay it for 1 month or so. Since I have some issues in accumulating the goods at my end, in the go down ശരിയല്ല, in the site readiness ആയിട്ടില്ല, നിങ്ങളുടെ കയ്യിൽ ദയവായിട്ട് ഒരു കുറച്ചും കൂടി വെച്ചോളൂ, ഞാൻ നിങ്ങളോട് റിക്വസ്റ്റ് ചെയ്യും. Here we have to book the revenue when the goods are ready to deliver and not on the date of actual delivery. I repeat, here we have to book the revenue when the goods are ready to deliver and not on the date of actual delivery. Why? Because customer has requested delay delivery and it's not my fault. Okay? Well, let us take up next item. Revenue from service transaction. Revenue from service transaction is usually recognized as the service is performed. However, in modern day business, they have mixed more than one service together. Artificially, it is bundled. In that case, what do you do? In case of single service, when the service is completed, revenue is recognized straight. And this is called completed service method. However, when it involves more than one service bundled together, proportionately it is considered for recognition. I repeat, proportionately it is considered for recognition. Let's say for 5 services together, the revenue is charged and just 2 are only completed and 3 are pending. Here, These two services, proportionate revenue will be recognized. And the balance theory, whether money received or not, will not be treated as revenue. Okay. In case money is received, it will be accounted as advance received. Okay. However, in certain special cases, you require the client's approval for it to say the service is dead. I repeat, the client's approval is required to say that the service is dead. The client does not say yes, the service is not actually completed. In that case, we will wait for the client's approval and then only we will call it as done. Till then, we cannot recognize the revenue because right to receive is established only thereafter. Okay. Now, we have another case subject to specific task. Specific task, when it is completed, then only service is completed. We have the right to receive the money only on completion of such task, and only when the task is completed, we will recognize the revenue. Example, a legal service. A lawyer is hired for a specific court case. The fee is payable only if the case is completed and a favorable judgment is delivered. The law firm or lawyer can recognize the revenue only after ensuring this task. Is it clear? Well, so far we have discussed the main two items. First, recognition of revenue from sale of goods, and the second one, recognition of revenue from rendering of service. Well, now we are going to take up the third and special items, that is interest, royalty, and dividend. I have already explained all these items in my previous video. To substantiate, interest is recognized on time proportion basis based on the outstanding amount and rate applicable. For example, let the financial year be 1st April to 31st March. On 1st October, I have made a 10% investment of rupees 1 lakh. Interest is payable annually. Next year, 30th September only, I am supposed to get the annual interest. Is it not? However, for the current year, 1st October to 31st March, I have accrued the half-yearly interest. Whether I have received or not is a different thing. 6 months period interest I am eligible in the current year. Hence, the accrued interest of 1 lakh into 10% for half-yearly, that is rupees 5,000, will be shown in the credit side of my profit and loss account as interest in. Okay. Suppose, had you purchased investment on 1st of December only for 4 months, that is December, January, February, March, interest should have been recorded in the books. That's all. Interest is therefore recorded on time basis in the books of accounts. Next is royalties. Royalty revenue is recognized on accrual basis in accordance with terms of agreement. I repeat, in accordance with terms of agreement. For example, an author gives intellectual property. Publisher sells his books throughout the year. That is from 1st April to 31st March. Let's assume. ഈ പൈസ സാധാരണ ആ വർഷത്തിനുള്ളിൽ കിട്ടിയില്ല, കുറച്ച് നാൾ കഴിഞ്ഞേ കിട്ടുള്ളൂ. മേ ബി ലെറ്റ്സ് സീ സാധാരണ നെക്സ്റ്റ് ജൂലൈയിലാണ് തരുന്നത്. പക്ഷേ to account that eligible royalty in the current year itself. That means year ending 31st March itself. അതാണല്ലോ accrual basis എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്. So, irrespective of actual receipt, royalty is accounted on accrual basis. Generally, royalty is on accrual basis. Next, and the third one is dividend. As I already mentioned in my previous video, dividend is a reward from holding of investments in shares. Dividend income is recognized only when a right to receive dividend is established, irrespective of the year it is relating to. After arriving at the annual profit, on a later date, dividend is declared. On that date, the shareholder can account the dividend. It is more precise. The investor gets the right to receive dividend only when the dividend is declared by members in the annual general meeting. Hence, it should be recorded only on the date of declaration. Please note that for each of above items, that is interest income, royalty income, and dividend income, another common recognition criteria is there. What is that? There should not be any significant uncertainty in ultimate collection at the time of recognition. I repeat, for all the three items, there should not be any significant uncertainty in ultimate collection at the time of recognition. If any uncertainty exists, recognition should be postponed till the time there is no uncertainty. Please make sure not to miss this. It's a frequently tested area in ICA exams. So always check for it in your question paper. Okay. Well, I want to emphasize the point that for recognition of revenue, in addition to the basic things, we must check whether there is significant certainty of collection of consideration. I repeat, check whether there is significant certainty of collection of consideration. I have given the products. I have transferred the risk. I have transferred the ownership, but I find there is significant uncertainty of collection of consideration. In that case, I should not recognize revenue. I should wait till I have significant certainty. So, though everything else is done, if there is no significant certainty of collection of consideration, wait till the date of significant certainty of collection of consideration. And that date only we will recognize the revenue. Okay. Second possible scenario is that you assume the significant certainty and book the revenue, and later on uncertainty happens. I repeat, and later on uncertainty happens. Now there is no certainty. What to do in this case? Whatever revenue you have already booked in profit and loss account cannot be taken back. I repeat, whatever revenue you have booked already cannot be taken back. So create provision for bad debts. Don't reverse the revenue. Okay. And finally, disclosure requirements. However, before discussing the disclosure requirements, let me encapsulate Account Standard 9, revenue recognition. Account Standard 9 is an account standard issued by the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, that is ICAI, that deals with the basis for recognizing revenue in the statement of profit and loss. It primarily applies to the sale of goods, rendering of services, and use by others of enterprise resources yielding interest, royalties, and dividends. Now, let us go ahead with disclosure required under Account Standard 9. As per AS9, the following disclosures should be made in the financial statements. Okay. First, revenue recognition criteria. The accounting policies adopted for recording revenue should be disclosed. I repeat, the accounting policies. This includes the method applied for each type of transaction: sale of goods, services, interest, royalties, dividends. Next, revenue from different sources. Revenue recognized during the period should be disclosed under separate heads. Sale of goods, rendering of services, interest, royalties, dividends. Any other significant category also be disclosed separately. Okay. Next one, uncertainty of collection. If there is uncertainty regarding collection of revenue, and accordingly revenue recognition has been postponed, means the circumstances should be disclosed. And the final one, deferred revenue. If any revenue is deferred due to non-fulfillment of condition, for example, pending delivery or installation, etc., it should be disclosed appropriately. We have covered all the points of Account Standard 9. Well, I have a plan to release create videos exclusively focused on selected problems. I repeat, selected problems. This will include a sufficient number of sums for each accounting standard that involves calculations. Series will be launched once the entire syllabus has been covered. And please note that. For that, the lectures will be delivered predominantly in Malayalam. അതുവരെ ദയവായി എന്നോട് ക്ഷമിക്കണം. ഇപ്പോൾ എനിക്കറിയാം എല്ലാ വീഡിയോസിലും മലയാളം കണ്ടന്റ് വളരെ കുറവാണ്. Kindly adjust. Okay? Take care. We'll meet again with another episode very soon. Thank you.